today we'd like to talk about reward and punishment on part of the Creator toward mankind. And maybe we can start with a definition of what does it mean? What does reward and punishment mean? What is a punishment altogether?
Есть вообще тут сложность.
Well, it's kind of complicated to define because how could there come a punishment from the Creator? If He has created man and He created all the conditions, He laid all the rules, set everything, and man, he loses his way, he errs, he's under the constant governance of the Creator. So what could he be punished for? And also then it's unclear what can a person be rewarded for then. But if a person nonetheless overcomes himself by his own efforts, did he do it, or did the Creator prepare it for him and awoke him this way from the inside in a way that man doesn't even feel? So it's a problem. It's difficult to discover exactly what it is. Many talked about it throughout history, built their and were wrong and built different theories on it. But so if man has no freedom of choice, then okay, no point in talking about it. But if man does have freedom of choice, as we talked about on our previous shows, then probably if he doesn't use it, then he's being punished or rewarded. Right. So then the question is, what is man's freedom then in relation to what exactly is it?
Разберем подробнее. Есть такое действительно устойчивое утверждение, что за хорошие поступки в этом...
Well, for good deeds in this world, man is rewarded. In the next world, and to the contrary, if he doesn't do something, if he acts incorrectly somehow, that there are certain rules that get through our sages, and then a person is punished for these things. How do you relate to this? Well, it's invented by people, and therefore, of course, for this, there is some kind of foundation. But actually, we need to talk about it only in the context that if the Creator is the eternal upper force that completely governs us, then what reward or punishment can we talk about here? It's only in relation to giving a person the ability to rise to the level of the Creator. And only in that can be his reward or punishment. But of course not for being wrong, for applying certain forces, insufficient or sufficient. Because one way or another, it's the Creator that made him that way. So how is it possible to talk about something being dependent on man? Because and whatever appears in a person, the Creator is first. Yeah, but we don't feel it. We were created in a way that we don't feel the upper force, so we have freedom of choice. As if. Okay, but at least that's what I feel. Right. So both reward and punishment are relative to me. Only in relation to us and only in relation to how do we perceive it, meaning we ourselves create such an environment, such conditions, and which we say, yeah, there's freedom here, there's freedom of choice, and we exist in this freedom of choice. So what could be a reward and what could be a punishment in this regard? Okay, so first of all, I define what reward and punishment is in relation to my own senses. For someone else, for you, for example. After this show, I'm going to run 10 kilometers. If I'd offer you to do it, for you, it's punishment. For me, it's a reward that I have such an option, meaning it's all in relation to me. Right. So let's find out. From the point of view of the wisdom of Kabbalah, what is a reward and what is punishment?
точки зрения программы творения,
From the point of view of the plan of creation,
к подобию,
all of man's aspiration to be like the Creator is a reward, and where man can't
мобилизовать себя к подобию,
mobilize himself and be like the Creator, there he needs to see
наказания.
Punishment.
То есть возможность уподобиться
So the ability to become like the Creator, if it is given to man and he uses it, the work in and of itself is called reward. Yes, answer the contrary. Yes. Okay. Is there such a concept as deserved and undeserved reward and punishment? Is there such a concept?
Заслуженное и незаслуженное воздействие.
Deserved and undeserved reward and punishment?
В принципе, это зависит от
Well, actually, it depends on how we inquire it all together
всеобщего управления.
on part of the Creator or
Не может.
governance as a whole. There can't be something like that. It can only seem to us.
Это мы должны
And if it does seem to us that way, then we think, I mean, on part of man, I can scrutinize this only on part of man.
все, что
On part of man, we need to accept it as everything that happens under the complete
поэтому не может быть
power of the Creator system, and therefore there can't be any problems, any mistakes, and we need to accept it as the absolute truth and good.
сейчас
So if I feel that in relation to me, the upper force is as if punishing me, then I can't say that it's undeserved, that it's for something. Even if you don't exactly know, still, man, as it says, needs to bless the Creator for all the bad as for all the good.
не знаешь, это иногда человек ощущает, что
Sometimes a person feels that
неправильно, он так он
if
ощущает.
he did something incorrectly, he feels that he did something incorrectly and he got some kind of punishment. As if,
Хорошее,
yeah, or to the contrary, he did something good and immediately get some kind of reward. But in most cases, there isn't any direct connection. It's hidden.
когда
Why? When is it? Why does it work that way? Why not directly show a person for his bad deeds a punishment?
человеку не показывают
Man is not shown nothing altogether besides the fact that he needs to know what he needs to know for his next correct action.
таким образом его ведут
And this way, he's led throughout life.
если он не понимает этого, если он не
If he
ощущает
doesn't understand it, if he doesn't feel it, then the problem's him.
в той мере, в которой он не ощущает,
Then to the measure to which he doesn't feel, meaning he's as if wrong,
ошибка, она же его
then the mistake itself
постепенно
is what gradually leads into better results. Everything's built in such a way that by way of trial and error, we advance.
огромное количество людей.
Okay, around me, there are plenty of people. I look at other people. There are people that are talented, rich, happy, and to the contrary, poor, miserable, ill,
Как
and
хочется
it's
сказать,
like
этих людей Творец
you want to say that the Creator rewarded these and punished those. Is it incorrect to see things that way? It's the way you judge it. How do you know what a reward, what a punishment is? Or what is reward, what is punishment? How can you understand the meaning of the Creator's attitude toward one person or another? Even in the Torah it says, he who spares his rod hates his child.
То есть не имеется в виду побои, а имеется в
Meaning,
виду, что все-таки ты должен давить на
we're not talking about the being itself, but what it means is that you nonetheless have to apply pressure to him so that out of an animal he'll become a human being. So if the person doesn't see the entire plan of creation, he can't say about nothing that he can't. But for that, we're given a list of instructions that we can base ourselves on them, even though that we haven't attained them yet in their true meaning. but nonetheless we can rely on them. The problem with this list of instructions is that each understands it his own way. That really depends on the measure to which a person's developed, but precisely in that is the meaning of these lists, that a person's wrong to the measure to which he does not coincide with these lists, to the measure to which he does not accept the instruction. Is there some kind of punishment from previous incarnations? Suppose that they do exist, these previous incarnations, even though we didn't talk about it, but suppose they exist. Is there such a concept like a person carrying around this baggage of bad deeds from the past? Well, actually, yeah, because our life and death, corporeal ones, they don't cut out anything or don't start anything. We need to accept it all as ongoing, ceaseless movement, ascent of our spiritual movement toward the Creator. On the contrary, there's even like it says in the Torah, the achievements of the forefathers that gives you an easier life and future. No, I wouldn't say easier, but more effective. Well, is it just that a person's punished for some deeds from previous lives that it's unclear, but it's yours? They're yours, but I don't feel that they're mine. Okay, you don't feel, but it's made so on purpose that you won't feel. That in order not to rob you, in order not to free you of certain problems, in order not to burden you with certain problems. It's done so all on purpose. It comes from a general system of guidance. It's something random or...
Вообще есть награждение, наказание напрямую?
Is there direct reward and punishment that comes from the Creator and doesn't come through nature and society? The person just feels that the Creator is directly sending him something. Yeah, but for that, man needs to put himself under that governance, to position himself under the governance of the Creator, under his rule, and then he'll feel it. But in most cases, person gets some kind of reward or punishment through nature or through society. Right.
Вообще, за какие поступки человек, творец...
What deeds can the Creator punish man for? Does the Creator punish man for? For those deeds that do not lead to the purpose of creation, it's not punishment. It's simply restrictions, slight corrections, adjustments, so to speak, working on mistakes. Is there such an understanding? Is it possible for man to punish the Creator? In that he does not aspire to reach the purpose of creation, you can consider that as punishing the Creator, as man punishing the Creator, like a child that doesn't want to develop. Right. To the measure to which he sorrows his parents. So again, what does a person do wrong in this world that the Creator punishes him for, allowing him to understand that it's for that? Can you give an example? Or not wanting to connect with other people and revealing the Creator. It's a general formula.
А вообще, почему работа на Творца, так написано в первоисточниках, работа на Творца...
Why working for the sake of the Creator is considered a reward, the work itself? Because in that, a person achieves his uppermost spiritual degree. He becomes eternal, whole, and complete like the Creator. He achieves unification with the Creator. He finds out what is this upper force, and in general, of creation, the upper world, meaning in that he rises to a degree
Он ничем не...
where he is unlimited by anything.
Как бы, ну, когда ты работаешь ради какого-то...
So it's like when you work for some great person, then the work itself becomes pleasure for you. Right? Now,
В мире
your
приложит
teacher wrote that to the extent to which a person puts in his effort, he is rewarded, that the effort itself is the reward. Can you explain?
Сами усилия являются наградой, потому
The effort itself is the reward because actually it stems from the Creator, even if it seems to a person that it's his own effort. And the measure of applied effort determines a person's spiritual status, and the measure of his ascent, of his closeness nearing the Creator, he by that defines his entire spirituality. So,
лишь одно
if the
усилие.
Creator, he demands just one thing of us, to unite with other people, then by making an effort to connect to other people, strangers, that maybe I even hate, turns out that this action in of itself is considered a reward. Yeah?
Представить?
Hard to imagine that.
А почему же сейчас это... Ну, допустим, человек прилагает...
Okay, suppose a person
Возьмутся наслаждение.
exerts, where does the pleasure for the exertion come from? Because he's doing it for the sake of the Creator, because he's coming closer to the Creator by it giving him delight. So, okay, the Creator needs to become revealed his greatness, and then, no, if it will become revealed, then man will act for the sake of the revelation of his greatness.
скрыто для того, чтобы делать
But
человеку
here it's hidden on purpose,
эгоистическому желанию. И
since man who disagrees with his egoistic goals and traits, but identifies with altruistic ones, that he does it.
Я должен себе представить, что Творец, он такой велик. Я должен себе представить, что он...
So I need to imagine that the Creator is great, that he wants for me to connect,
На это все
for
горючее.
me to connect with others, and I need to find the fuel to do it and to be delighted to hope that I'll be delighted for my efforts. No, you don't need to hope for anything. Your delight comes as a result of you giving delight of you delighting the Creator. And I need to depict that too, because if I'll really feel that I'm delighting him, then that's it. Obviously, I'll do it then. But here I need to depict it. Right. Therefore, a person needs to close himself. He needs to make a restriction on himself,
от своих
not to receive any kinds of pleasure from his spiritual work. So there's some kind of formula here that there's something missing. Where do you take the fuel from? Don't worry, it'll come.
Есть какие-то ресурсы, которые...
So in nature, there are certain resources that we can enact.
больше, чем в нашем
Sure, much greater than in our world.
Потому что эгоистическое горючее мне понятно.
Because egoistic fuel does understand. But altruistic, it will come when you will want to work without any egoistic fulfillment.
есть в мире.
You will see
Увидишь
how much
возможностей
how many options there are in the world
безответно.
to act without getting any kind of response, meaning without fulfilling yourself, without thinking of the reward.
Работа, само действие.
When the work in and of itself, the action in and of itself without the reward,
Вообще,
is the reward itself.
самое большое...
Well, people wrote about it kind of, but the biggest pleasure is not to think about yourself.
То есть, если
Right.
человек освобождается от мысли...
So if a person can relieve himself of any thought about himself and starts to come out of himself, that's the biggest pleasure. Right.
Не надо
Sometimes you're right, and Bala Sulam talks about it, not to look at the Creator as some kind of personality that relates in one way or another to man, but as the laws of nature. If you keep the laws of nature, abide by them, you get a reward. Light, for example, on the animal level, you don't. you get blows. Can you look at things that way too? Yep. It doesn't matter. It's necessary to try to all the time act in such a way that you will come closer to the Creator
То есть вот так она работает, допустим, я сам...
in whatever you can. So that's the work. I abide by the laws of gravity. I can live. I don't. And it doesn't matter whether I understand them or not. It's the same with the Creator. Suppose, yeah. He says it's necessary to unite with other people. I abide by it. Great. I don't. I have it bad. No. You can't determine whether it's good or bad, because then you will act according to the word, because then you'll act according to what's good or bad. So if I abide by this law, I need to understand that at some point I'll get some kind of reward, even though that I don't see it. Well, it's a reward anyway, but I don't see it. Doesn't matter. You don't see your money in the bank either.
Да, но я их могу всегда пойти снять.
Yeah, but I can always go and draw money. Well, here you are, so that you'll be able to do it too. Yeah, but maybe in the future I'll get something. Okay. I'm living in this world. I'm connected to other people. To what extent do my incorrect actions influence the actions of other people? They influence. To what extent I can't tell you, but they do. And their actions on you. So their incorrect actions influence your incorrect actions and the other way around. So suppose I understand the laws of nature, I want to abide by them, I make an effort, and there are a few more billions of people that don't want to abide by them, don't want to do this or that consciously or unconsciously, and I'm punished for it. Of course, we're all connected in one system. And okay, so what do you do in this case? Try and correct yourself, and through yourself, others too. Meaning not to correct them, but to correct myself. Of course.
Все равно же они существуют, и они...
Yeah, but still, what's the connection if I correct myself and they're incorrect? You pray for them.
Почему такая должна быть ответственность?
Why does there need to be such responsibility? Because it's a general system.
Уже эти все коллективные наказания, они...
Yeah, but all of these collective punishments, they already exhaust themselves. A person needs to be responsible for himself. Who told you? What is it? A kind of socialism or what? Nothing exhausted itself. The system exists and will continue to exist.
Всегда.
Always. The Creator created one vessel desire, and this desire needs to achieve the degree of the Creator.
Только в этом материальном мире или в духовном мире?
Punishment exists only in this corporeal world or in the spiritual too.
Наше восприятие.
No, there are no two worlds, actually. It's only our perception that divides everything this way. Our entire sensation into two.
В эгоистических килим, моих органах ощущений.
Perception and our vessels. There's punishment there, but the altruistic ones too. For example, a mom that wants to give something to her child, newborn, and he can't accept it. Suppose his stomach aches.
Она страдает.
So she's suffering.
Наказание.
So there, the punishment and suffering is not for yourself, but for others. Yeah, and it's much greater than for yourself.
А вот еще так написано, ваш учитель пишет, что если человек молится за себя...
So if a person prays for himself, by that he draws punishment upon himself. Can you explain this? Because you're thinking about yourself instead of thinking about others. How is it possible, while existing in an integral system, to think about yourself? For sure, you completely distort the integral system by it.
Какие-то необходимые для себя.
Yeah, but if I pray for basic needs, only in order to exist and then to support the integrality of the entire system, yeah, suppose for that, then it's okay.
Это называется необходимо.
That's called that's considered as basic needs, and there's no problem with that.
Когда человек явно ощущает
When a person clearly feels the upper governance on himself in relation to himself, then he clearly sees a reward and punishment, and if so, where's his freedom of choice then?
Свобода выбора, она всегда есть у человека.
Freedom of choice always exists in a person, and that at least to ask, what else can I do in order to come closer in thought, desire, etc., to the Creator, to become like the Creator. A person that reveals the Creator, he clearly sees reward and punishment or not? Yes or no?
Смотря что лучше для него, для его...
Depending on what's better for his advancement.
от него тоже скрыты.
Или он сам скрыт.
Maybe it's concealed from him, or he conceals it for himself. A person can conceal something for himself. Yeah? Doesn't want to see it.
Его отношения было более честно.
That his relations will be clear, higher.
И наоборот.
Or to the contrary, he doesn't hide it from himself, and he examines the measure to which it influences him, impacts him,
Он может оставаться нейтральным, если он
to
видит.
the measure to which he can remain neutral, even rising above
Чтобы поднять себя еще выше,
this in order to raise yourself to an even higher state where the result of the action will not influence one's attitude. So, man is the purpose of nature, or the purpose is to disconnect our actions from their result, because otherwise you won't be able to act in bestowal if your bestowal depends on the result. So the reward needs to be the process itself, yes, and not to wait for any result. Absolutely. So what I'm trying now, suppose that I'm trying to unite with others, etc., that I'm searching for the upper force, the process in and of itself needs to be sufficient and give me this already the reward. Yeah, till next time, all the best.